So what is going on, guys? It is me, Kieron the Barber, back with another YouTube video. Today we are doing more of a really low taper fade. So I'm starting off with my trimmers, just removing bulk, making sure I've got a good line that I've put in the hair, making sure the line is nice and straight before I start tapering that in. From a taper, I say come to the temple, to the bottom of the ear, and then from the middle of the ear about an inch past the occipital bone. So that gives it that nice little low to mid taper kind of form. Ty wants to grow his hair long on the top, so what we don't want to do is we don't want to take off too much of the crown or too much of them sides, because we want to get a bit of weight and stuff like that. So going in first with my clippers, I start from a half, take up the half, and then using my ergos I will use a number 1 open to start separating the hair. I've not necessarily removed the bulk yet. That's one of the things I'm going to actually do last. And as you can see, each time I'm creating a different line, because with the lines what I want to do is eventually start rubbing them out, go from like a 1.5 to a 1 to a half guard open to a half guard closed to a half open to a 0 just on the very bottom. And that's what we want to work out. That's what we want to try and do. That will give us our fade. So yeah, it's with a temple taper, especially with a taper itself, people tend to struggle. I'll be honest, I sometimes struggle. Ty's hair isn't the easiest hair in the world to cut, so doing a nice high skin fade is perfect. You can remove a lot of the bulk and you can get it off. But as you can see on Ty's hair on the side, actually it flicks behind his ear, it flicks off to the left slightly. So picking that up with a comb and trying to get that off with the clippers is actually harder than it looks. So it's all about managing it, taking it nice and slow, making sure you've got patience with it pretty much. I think the longest haircuts I tend to do are tapers. They take me the longest time because you put the most effort into them. It's a haircut what goes from pretty much nothing on the sides to a lot of heavy bulk on the sides. So instead of a skin fade where you just go skin up and then you will disconnect the top, it's a lot harder. Now you can see from the back what I'm doing is I'm making that line again, just putting in a really rough guide to what I want to be doing, taking off the bulk, and it's about an inch underneath the occipital bone. It's just below the middle of the ear. Just removing that hair, making sure all the bulk's gone before. What I'll do is later on I will foil that, and I will also go over that with a razor, etc, just to make sure that hair's gone. I'll use exactly the same process, so I'll go with a 1.5 open, removing that bulk, but still making sure I've got a line in there, making sure I create a line where I know it's nice and straight, so that my fade isn't all over the place. That's the one thing you've got to remember, is if you create a line, make sure your line is nice and straight, because if you're just flicking up and it's going everywhere and you're just getting rid of bulk, then when you actually come to finalize your fade may be up and down slightly in different parts and different areas. So the best thing to do is make sure when you're creating lines, make sure your lines are straight, and then get ready to fade them out straight afterwards, because that's it's probably the best way to go about it. So here you can see I have my half guard open, then I do the half guard close, and then I'll come in with the half guard itself, and I'll just do my C motion, so I'll just flick up and out just to make sure. And then afterwards we can just slowly from the occipital bone up, remove that bulk, making sure we're keeping that crown real nice and real heavy. And then afterwards I'll make sure I put some scissor work in there. So then this is a number 2.5, well, actually it's a 2, so I beg your pardon, it's a 2. And then I will go to my 1.5 open and then 1.5 close, just to make sure that is blended in before I start cutting into the crown or anything like that. It's all about, this haircut personally for me is all about angling your haircut and making sure you take your time on it. This taper should never ever be rushed at all in any circumstances. A taper is very hard to do. It's probably one of the hardest haircuts that I find to do personally. Like, everybody has their haircut that they find harder to do. I find for me tapers are probably one of the harder ones, because I like blending in, and I find that you have to blend in a taper, but you also have to leave the taper very, very heavy as you go up towards the middle of the haircut or the crown. It has to be left very, very heavy. Other than that, I spoke a bit now about the haircut. How are you all doing? I hope you're all okay. I hope you're all good. That was a bit serious for me. Where we all watching from today? Currently, I'm sitting in Aylesbury, Buckinghamshire, in my shop, Raw Image Barbershop. It is a lovely Tuesday afternoon, 2 weeks before Christmas. So everybody is currently getting in their Christmas cuts and stuff like that. We're out of lockdown. Vaccine day 1 today. The first person in the UK got their vaccine done today. So if you're listening from the future and you don't know what coronavirus is, it was horrible. It was horrible. It still is horrible right now, but it's gonna go. I reckon 2021 for barbers, if you're listening, barbers, 2021 is going to be our best year. I've said it right here, right now. Figure it out. Vaccine comes in by January, February. Everybody has the vaccine. We're allowed to go on holiday, weddings, festivals, theatres. People are allowed to go back on dates. You'll get people allowed to go down the pub, the football. You know, everything is going to be back on. So for me personally, 2021, we're going to be doing a lot of haircuts. We are going to be playing catch up. It's going to be our busiest year. Just make sure you are at your absolute best. So now, I got sent this really cool razor from Dark Stag. It's the first time I've ever used a razor like this. So you can tell I'm a bit scared. But it's the first time I've ever used a razor like this. And oh my God, as soon as you take that hair off, yeah, it leaves the skin so soft. It's absolutely incredible. I'm going to use this more often for like doing when people come in and ask for shaves, especially on top of their head and stuff like that. I'm going to be using it. I was a bit precautious with this shaver at first because I'd never ever used one before. But we love a tie up. We make sure the skin was nice and soft. We stretched the skin and we razored down. I do apologize that my arm is in the way. I'm really disappointed in this video because my arm is in the way of this video a lot and I've had to really cut it down. So I apologize. But yeah, so it was, honestly, it was awesome. It looks really messy. It is really messy, but it's so fun. Honestly, I didn't know what I was doing for some of this, but for someone who's used it for the first time ever, I didn't cut tie, I didn't make him bleed, I didn't make his skin irritate, and then he felt it afterwards and he was like, that is the softest shave I've ever had. And that is me, the first time I've ever used it. So guys, go on Dark Stag's website. I will leave a description in the website below, and it comes in a really nice kit for Christmas. It comes with the bowl, the shaver, a shave brush and a stand where you can put everything on as well. It makes it look really nice for your bathroom. So it's a really good Christmas gift, and if you just want to treat yourself to a really cool shaving set, then there we go as well. So get onto darkstag.com. I'll put the links in the descriptions anyway, so you don't worry about that. But yeah, I had a lot of fun playing with this. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, I've had a lot of people in one of my recent videos where I've asked people where they're from. I've got a lot of people from the UK actually, where they've said where they're exactly from, like Leeds, Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham, places like that. But a lot of people are like Philippines, India, like South America, places like that. So guys, if you're watching from a country which is super unique and you think your country is really, really cool, write your country down below. Tell me where you're from. Come and say hello. I'm going to respond to every single one of you. I promise I am on it like a carb on it. I'm trying to get 100 videos up by the end of the year. I think I'm on 94 videos. So I want to get another 6 videos out by the end of the year, and I want to YouTube next year. Honestly, I thought 2020 was going to be my YouTube year, where I was going to have I was going to really concentrate on my followers, etc, etc. But 2020 did me dirty with coronavirus. As you say, we've had 6 months off and it has been absolutely horrible. So now I'm spraying Ty's hair down, getting ready to dry it all properly. We dry Ty's hair with a diffuser. If you haven't got a diffuser in your shop, why have you not got a diffuser in your shop? Diffusers are like the best thing. Honestly, I wouldn't know. I diffuse a lot of people's hair. always using the diffuser. Comment down below and let me know if you use a diffuser in your shop and why you use it as well. So yeah, and then we're going to stick some mousse in with some curls, a little bit of mousse. I'm going old school, going back to the 80s. And then we dry it up and style it. But I love using mousse. It's one of these products what, I'll be honest, is really underrated, and especially as people are growing their hair longer, and they're giving it more texture, more curls and stuff like that. People now again like the dry look. The wet look is over. The pomade is over. The pomade is done. No one uses pomade anymore. So it's all about mousses to let it dry in, powders, dry hairspray like a free spray and stuff like that. And as you can see, what I'm doing with my diffuser is I'm going clockwise, and then when I get to the side of his hair, I'll come anti-clockwise to make sure that his hair blends in on each side. As you can see here, I'm going anti-clockwise. Here I'm going clockwise. So whichever side I'm on, I'll diffuse the way the hair pushes forward. I don't want to go clockwise and make the hair fall over his fade. I want to come anti-clockwise to push that fade upwards. And that's what I'm trying to do. Trying to make Ty look beautiful. So there we have it, pretty much done. And I've talked for the last X amount of minutes, and I've loved talking. Oh man, why didn't I stick it on manual focus, not autofocus? It takes a long time to dry Ty's hair, by the way. His hair is like just holds water. And he said he apologizes about a big spot on the side of his head. He said no one in the comments should mention his big spot. Just don't mention it, guys. He gets upset. And there we have it. Big curls and a temple fade. And by the way, we in the shop, Roy Image Barbershop, that goes from me, myself, Richmond Perez, Zach Batista and Corbin. We are all growing our mullets out for 2021, mullet 2021. Who's going to grow the longest mullet? I haven't had a mullet in about years. It's been years. So yeah, next time you see me on a video, I might have a little mullet going on. Just ignore it. Just ignore it, really. And that's a finished product. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Peace.